Hi there, thanks for stopping by. My name is Suze, and I work with women to help them find balance between their inner masculine and feminine energies so that they can feel really fulfilled in their lives and have a lot of connection and love, right? So, today I want to give you 5 reasons why masculine energy is important for women or for women who identify with a feminine core. Um, First of all, before I get into that, I will be dropping a link down below in the description box to my blog on my website. I did some blogs specifically if you're questioning whether you have a feminine core or a masculine core. I did some blogs about that. And I will drop a link in the description box below for you to go check that out if you're questioning. Because my message is for women with a feminine core. And I want to talk about masculine energy today because I know in my journey, I spent the first great part of my life in the wounded masculine energy. And I'm not going to get into that today, but I know a lot of women identify with that, where you're having to push yourself and you're working really hard and you're over sacrificing and you're over giving and you're people pleasing. You're stuck in codependency. You're in the hustling and working hard and analyzing and problem solving and planning. All of that is wounded masculine energy in feminines, in women with a feminine core. Okay. And so in my journey and with a lot of women that I've worked with, I've noticed that when we finally start switching over to our feminine side and allowing that feminine energy to come forward, it's almost like we develop an aversion to the masculine energy, right? Because we're so afraid of going back into that place that felt so yucky. It felt so heavy and it felt so forced, and it really put us in a bad place. And for a lot of us, we came out of that place because of significant physical problems. We were pushing ourselves so hard that our bodies literally started giving way on us. And so there becomes a fear of, okay, I'm feeling all this relief in my feminine energy. I don't want to go back there. And so there's kind of like this taboo that goes over the idea of masculine energy, and we avoid it. But I'm here to tell you that that masculine aspect inside of you has to be healed. And that masculine energy component does need to come into your existence. Because without it, first of all, we don't have balance. And second of all, I'll get into the 5 reasons why. It is important. We just have to learn how to integrate it back in a very healthy way. So my reason number 1 for why masculine energy is important in feminine women is boundaries. Masculine energy is boundaries. They are one and the same. Boundaries are masculine energy. And clearly we need boundaries. Boundaries are what signify our self-worth and our standards of how people can access us. And that's a big conversation. I'm not going to get into all of that. I did another video here on my channel about boundaries and rewriting some mindsets around boundaries to help women actually like them. Because I know for a lot of us, we get scared of the idea of boundaries, right? You're afraid you're going to lose someone or lose some connection or something. So I did do a video here about that, about learning to love boundaries. Okay, so that is number 1. Masculine energy is super important because that is where your boundaries come from, is from masculine energy. Number 2, it's a word that a lot of people don't like, and so I've put a feminine twist on a masculine word too, and the word is discipline, and a lot of people don't like discipline. I've talked a lot about discipline in other spaces that I'm on, and I've turned it into the word devotion. I think that a lot of feminine women, we resonate better. It feels softer. It feels less resistant if we think of discipline as devotion. And clearly it is a necessary thing, right? If we're going to produce anything in the world of value and of meaning, there does have to be a devotion to it, to the process. There has to be discipline, right? I practice yoga. I'm a yoga teacher as well, and I love my personal private practice. And so I have been disciplined with my schedule of what days I'm not available to the world, because those are the days and times that I'm doing my own yoga practice for myself, feeding into myself, because I know how that helps me. So I'm very disciplined with my yoga practice. I'm very disciplined with other things in my life that I know I need to have plugged in to keep myself going where I want to go. Right? So that's number 2. Number 3 is the word commitment. Commitment is entirely masculine energy. And I think we all know commitment is kind of goes on the heels of the discipline and the devotion, right? Commitment is super important. As feminine women, you know, in a relationship, you want to feel the safety of commitment. If you're with someone who's wishy-washy and won't commit to you, it creates a lot of anxiety and a lot of emotional chaos for the feminine internally. So commitment, both ends, the masculine and the feminine, have to be committed to each other. Commitment is a masculine energy word that clearly is very important, right? I have children too, and so part of that is commitment to mothering and parenting my children in the way that I feel is correct for them to help bring them up and bring them into the adults that I envision for them, set them up for success, right? So commitment, number 3. Number 4, holding space. I almost had the word support here, and I decided not to do it because for me, support really falls under boundaries. Again, watch my video on boundaries. It really falls under the idea of boundaries for me. So I decided to put holding space here because the idea of holding is a very masculine quality. And think about it. Think about it. If you're in a relationship with a man, with a masculine man, when he holds you, how does that make you feel? It feels so good to be held. Masculine energy is a holding energy. I wish I had one of my glasses of water here with me. I often use the idea of a glass of water when talking about the idea of holding. You have the water, which is very symbolic of feminine energy, emotions, all of that. And you have your glass. You have your glass that holds the water. You have to have the glass to hold the water. And the bigger the holding, the more emotional energy, internal space that is able to be held, right? So the deeper you want to go in your feminine energy, or I should say the freer and bigger and more expansive you want to be in your feminine energy, it requires a really big holding of the masculine energy. I'm also going to use it very specifically in relationship. If you're a feminine woman and you are coming to your masculine man and you are talking to him about something that's bothering you, something that's on your heart or on your chest, and you want to get it out, you don't want him fixing you or criticizing you or telling you what to do or making you feel bad or making you feel over emotional, overly sensitive, overreacting. You don't want any of that. You simply want a safe, held space to go and let yourself feel seen and heard and held. Holding space is super important with masculine energy. Clearly, we have to do that with ourselves as well. With all of this emotional energy that we have to learn how to hold space for our own feelings, because that's then how we validate ourselves. And the more we get away from needing other people to validate us, and the more we get into the space of validating myself, the more powerful you will be. Because you are moving away and away and away from codependency into sovereignty. Number 5, I love this one. And I had a hard time picking out how I wanted to label this. But my 5th one, I have 3 different things and I'll explain them. But for number 5, energetic exchange / investment / balance. So maybe we should just say balance because that's pretty easy, right? And then I'll explain it. The thing about men is I went to this seminar once. I once worked with this woman. She was brilliant. I love how she explains the differences between men and women, masculine and feminine, because the more we understand men, I think the more we can collaborate better with them, right? And there's so much misunderstanding going between men and women, feminine and masculine, and it really trips us up in our relationships. And one of the things that I learned from this woman is Men are intuitively, or I shouldn't say intuitively, instinctually, men are instinctually really good at only investing their energy into doing something that they know is worth it. They're very good at knowing I'm going to do this thing or put this energy out, output energy, because I know the coming back of the investment is worth it. Balance. That's something that women are not great at, and we have to develop that. Because again, it goes into the whole self-worth thing. But I don't want to go too far in self-worth today. Am I investing my energy in places that it's a wise investment? Is my return on my energetic investment balanced and wise? Am I receiving back something that is equal in value to the energy I am investing into something? That's a very masculine quality. And I think if we women could incorporate that more into our lives, a lot of the stress and exhaustion that a lot of women feminines deal with would start to really melt away, and we'd have more space to feel free. So those are my top 5 reasons why masculine energy is super important and does need to be integrated into feminine women. We can't just ignore the masculine. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Check out my other ones, and do check out the link below. I will drop the link for my blogs in general, and also particularly the ones I mentioned in this video. You can go check that out. Please like and subscribe if you appreciated this to support me, and have a great day. Thank you so much.